Hi, I'm Penguin402, aka and today I'm going to be talking about uh Ernest movies, right? And I'm going to be ranking Ernest movies. So yeah, and I apologize for not having doing the stream on Monday. My laptop's been like really messed up and not wanting to fully charge, and so I was worried that it wasn't going to be fully charged. So I wanted to wait till it was actually fully charged to do it. So this is, and by the way, this is my opinion, and I didn't include the Hey Vern series stuff and the Your World as I See It, and then the Doctor Otto and the Riddler of the Gloom Beam. I think that's what it was called. I just call it Doctor Otto because those aren't like real Ernest movies. Yes, Ernest is in them. But they're either series, like TV series, or specials, or they were or with like Doctor Otto, it was just an independent film, and Ernest was only in it in the beginning and at the end. So that's why I didn't include it, despite what other Ernest purists might think. I'm not here to do it. So without further ado, I'd like to begin. Starting with, and I have these written down by the way, on my phone. Starting out with number 9. So my number 9 was originally not gonna be my number 9 until I did a YouTube search on because I have the movie, but I was didn't feel like rewatching it, so I just like looked up clips of it on YouTube, and there was one clip that was like really, to me, it felt racist, and I'm talking about Ernest Goes to Africa. It's from this one. I used to have the actual Ernest Goes to Africa DVD, but then my dad got me this, so it's that's why I don't have it anymore. But this one is kind of racist in a way because there is one scene, if you look this up on YouTube, you can find it, where he's in like brown face, like an Indian face, like guy from India, Jim Varney is, and I can see where it's racist, and I felt uncomfortable just seeing that scene. And I was reading the comments on that scene from that video that the person posted, and they were saying one person was like, "Well, only white people would find that offensive and would be offended by it, and like you guys, white people are offended by white chicks," and I'm like, I'm not offended by white chicks because I find it hilarious. This I just found really offensive, in my opinion, and it just didn't look right. Something looked off about it. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, if you want to check it out, go and check it out. But it's not the greatest Ernest movie. Next one on my list is actually a movie that my niece. I have 3 nieces, and I recently rewatched this one because my nieces spent the night last week, and they wanted to watch it. And it's a movie that was originally going to be my number 9 until uh, Goes to Africa, or Ernest Goes to Africa. So I decided to put this one at number 8, and it's one that I watched a lot as a kid, but I got tired of it. And it's actually my oldest niece's favorite Ernest movie. Out of all the Ernest movies I've shown her, this is her favorite. I'm talking about Ernest Scared Stupid. This one is like, it is wacky, as the title, as the reviewer said, it is wacky, but it's not scary. I mean, the troll scene would be scary for kids, but it wasn't really scary for me as a kid because I watched like Halloween and, well, Halloween, the original Halloween 2, and like Night of the Living Dead and Halloween Resurrection, those movies. So that's why it's not really scary, but it is weird, and it's just not my favorite. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the fact that I watched it a lot as a kid and I grew tired of it. But yeah, Ernest Scared Stupid. Not one of the best ones. Next one, this one, Ernest Purist might hate me for this, but I don't care. I mean, it's a good movie, but it's not one that I watch every year, and that is Ernest Saves Christmas. Now, my oldest niece, she did not know about this one. I told her last week, I said, during Christmas time, we need to watch this. She's like, I didn't know he did a Christmas movie, and I was like, yeah, he did, and it's good, but it's not like my favorite. It's not one of my favorites, and it's not the one that I watch every year for Christmas on around Christmas time. I watch like uh the original Grit, like the live action Grinch. I watch that one every year. If a Wonderful Life, if It's a Wonderful Life is on TV, I'll watch that one. I watch the Santa Claus, not every year, but I try to. But the one that and then we also watch Home Alone, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. We watch those. But the one that we watch every year, and it's been a tradition in our family, is A Christmas Story. And this one just never fit in that watch it every year category, but I will watch it again this year because I do want to see it. And I know Santa Claus is in this movie, and I know Ernest uh gets thrown out somewhere into a bed of a truck with a Christmas tree. So that's pretty funny, but just not one of my favorites. Next one is a movie that I recently watched. I watched it last month, and it's really good, but it's not one of my favorites. But it's really cool, and found out that this movie was not released on DVD. Had never been released on DVD. Someone mentioned it on Amazon review, and I'm like, then how come I have it on DVD as it's not in a collection? Explain that. And I'm talking about Ernest Rides Again. So this one is he works at a college as a janitor, and uh he's he wants to be like Indiana Jones and find uh just try to find this hidden giant cannon called Goliath, and yeah, it's really funny. And yeah, the picture right here is creepy. It's a little creepy, but awesome. I like it. It's just not one of my favorites. It's but it's almost towards the middle of the road. So this next one, I did not have as a child, and it took me years to find this because it was never released on DVD. I don't know why, but it just never was. And it I didn't find it until a couple of years ago when I went to Gardner's. It's a place in Tulsa. If you're ever in Tulsa, go find it. It's awesome. They I wasn't even looking for this movie when I was in there. I was actually looking for Rugrats in Paris while I was in there. And I ended up finding this one, and I ended up getting this for free because it was a 2 disc set, and they didn't have the second disc, and I was hoping that they had the disc that I needed, and they did. And I'm talking about Ernest Goes to School, and I got it for free because they didn't have the one with Slam Dunk Ernest and Hey Ernest, my family album, which it doesn't matter because I already have them. But yeah, but did have Ernest Goes to School, which I was happy about because I'd never seen the movie because I didn't have the movie. And I was so glad when they put it on DVD and I was able to get it. And it's really good. There's a locker room scene. You can find it on YouTube where he's trying to fix the plumbing in there and it just goes haywire. It's hilarious. And the whole premise of the movie was I think they were gonna close down the schools and in that county or whatnot, and or something like that. I don't remember, but I know that the superintendent or whoever it was comes in and was like, I need all your staff to have a high school diploma. Well, Ernest was the only staff member who did not have a high school diploma, so he had to go back to school and earn a high school diploma. Similar to Billy Madison. If you've ever seen that movie, it's like that. Just, I think, a little better, in my opinion. I have three more. No, actually, I have four more. Next one on my list. Hold on, I get it out from underneath here. Uh, and that is Ernest in the Army. I love this one. It's hilarious, especially the when Ernest actually does enlist in the Army Reserves, because there's a high ranking officer. I think it was a colonel or a general. Can't remember, but he was the guy was talking, and Ernest was paying attention, but he was like eating like gushers, what looked to be like gushers. Uh, and the guy comes by and like tells him to like spit it out or whatnot, so he does. Well, he ends up spitting it out onto the guy's face. This guy's face, and they're trying to take it off. It's hilarious, and yeah, and he doesn't think he's gonna get he doesn't think he's gonna be deployed because he's in the reserves, and a lot of times they don't get deployed. Well, his unit actually does get deployed, and he's like, "I'm not supposed to go," and like it's just hilarious. And I chose it because I have an affliction for our armed forces, and thank you to anyone who has served or who is currently serving in our armed forces. Thank you for your service and everything that you've done and what you continue to do for America. Thank you. But it's really good, and yeah, I do recommend it. Next one is a movie that I watched a lot when I was a kid. I watched this movie so much, but I had an issue with two of the characters in this movie, and I'm talking about Slam Dunk Ernest, and you can see right there, there's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is the archangel of basketball in this movie. I don't know why he is, but he is, and it's just hilarious. But I had an issue with two of the characters in this movie. There's a guy named Mr. Zamil who I had an issue with because he tries to change Ernest, which you should never change. Make someone change. Should be who you already are. And then he changed the girl that Ernest had a crush on, which was Miss Taradiddle. Like, he changed her and made her look like a bimbo, and I'm like, no. I had an issue with him. I did not like him at all, but I did like this movie, and everyone like doubted him throughout this whole entire movie, say he sucked. And the only reason why he got better was because he put on these like magical shoes, and they ended up becoming like a part of him, which was kind of weird. But I remember watching this movie all the time as a kid. Yeah, highly recommend it. Next two are probably like the two like gems of the Ernest world and the Ernest franchise. Every Ernest enthusiast will agree with me on this, except for Nostalgia Critic, who said my number one, which you'll find out what that is soon enough, said it was the worst, which I disagree. But here is number two. This one I watched a whole lot, and it has Gaylord Sartain in it. And if you've ever seen the movie The Outsiders, he's in that movie. He's a fat dude that did not run after them into the burning church, and the one that told Ponyboy to stop smoking, told him not that smoking's bad for him because he's young and stuff. That's Gaylord Sartain. He's also the Big Bopper in the Buddy Holly story, if you've seen that movie. He's in these next two, and he's hilarious. And these two and Big Bopper were like the roles that he was born to play, and they nailed him on the head with the Big Bopper. Yeah, just FYI. And that is Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Goes to Jail is like hilarious. He has like a twin, like a doppelganger who's in jail, and Ernest gets put on jury duty for the inmate, his doppelganger's friend that's in, for his, gets put on the jury for his doppelganger's, like, inmate prison friend, and that guy was like, hey, one of the jury one of the jury members for my trial looks just like you. You can get out of here. You can be free. Like, just switch places with him. Because they somehow were able to have the trial happen at the prison. And so they were able to switch places. And what I love about this is, like, the old lady. I love when Jim Varney plays the old lady in the movies. He's hilarious. And he tries to escape by becoming the old lady. Well, the prison guard recognizes him just by the ball and chains, and he gets thrown back into jail, but back into prison. But it's hilarious, and his doppelganger gets out, and he gets put into jail, which I think is kind of crazy because Gaylord Sartain's character doesn't realize that that's not actually Ernest, because he doesn't he's so stupid and doesn't realize that, hey, this guy isn't wearing a vest and he's not wearing a hat. The prison guards are stupid because they're like, oh, this guy's wearing a vest and he's wearing a hat. That's not what this inmate does. He doesn't wear a vest or a hat. Like, yeah, they're too stupid to think that. But I love this movie. Highly recommend it. I think it's on YouTube. I think you can watch it for free on YouTube. I know you can watch Ernest Goes to School and I think Ernest in the Army for free with ads on YouTube. But yeah, next one. This one is my all-time favorite Ernest movie. I recently rewatched this movie and it still holds up today. And this is the one that nostalgic critics said was the worst Ernest movie. Now they did say that Ernest Goes to Jail was the best one. So yeah, and they did say Ernest Scared Stupid was one of the worst ones as well. But they had never seen all the Ernest movies. So that's why I did this list because they had never seen all the Ernest movies and I have. So I'm the best person to rank it. Plus I have all the movies too. And I'm talking about Ernest Goes to Camp. The best part about this movie is not just Ernest, but Gaylor Sartain right here. He's man right here. I don't know if you can see him or not. He's one of the chefs. He's one of the cooks at the camp, and he is hilarious. He is hilarious, and I love this movie, and it's just so good. And like, there are so many great scenes in this movie. The barbecue scene is hilarious. The scene where they're like destroying, like trying to get Crater Mining Company to leave, and they're like messing with their day and stuff, and Gaylor Sartain's character and the other guy, I can't remember his name, the other chef in this movie, the other cook in this movie, have this like contraption that they've made, and they're like throwing stuff in there, and then it's like coming out like goop and nasty and stuff. It's hilarious. And then like the the bulldozer thing, the bulldozer, I think that's what it's called, comes in and like it's chasing them, and like they're running and stuff. It's hilarious. You have to see this movie. I think you can find it here on YouTube. If you can, watch it. It's one of the best camp movies ever, next to Meatballs and maybe Camp Nowhere, but Ernest Goes to Camp is amazing. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you check it out because it is definitely worth watching. And yeah, and it's just a movie about these. It's a movie about this all boys camp that's on this Indian reservation, and these group of these kids come in from this institution from like basically juvie, come in and they're known as the second chance boys, and uh and they're given like a second chance on life, and they really come together with like the two villains, the two camper villains come together with them to save their camp because their camp has been kind of like bought out by this mining company, Creator Mining Company, and they're trying to get the camp back with help of Ernest and the tribal chief from the camp, from the Indian tribe, which is Camp Kikiki, which is Kikiki tribe, and they're all trying to get trying to save the camp, and it's really good. It's hilarious, and yeah. But then my camp counselor brain goes, and I'm like, why are they not with their counselor? Like, where are their counselors at when they're walking to the mess hall? Like, why are they walking to the lake or the swimming hole by themselves? Like, yeah, those things go through my mind, and yeah, but that's just me. So, post in the comments below what your list is if you've seen all the Ernest movies, and if you haven't, check them out, please. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because on Friday I'm going to be talking about the most iconic video game characters, and on Monday, next a week from today, I'm going to be ranking One Tree Hill seasons. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Bye!